Hey, it's Nikki from My Healthy Beginning. And, we all have dealt with, or we know a baby who has had to deal with diaper rash. And as an experienced mom, there's nothing worse. It's so frustrating and it's so hard to watch our wee little ones crying and dealing with the stinging and the inflammation that can come with the diaper rash. And recently I had a request from a client late one evening over a weekend. What do we do with this girl's bottom? It's on fire, it's nearly bleeding, and now she's happily sitting in an oatmeal bath eating a banana. What do we do next? And I threw that question back out to the My Healthy Beginning Facebook community because so many of these moms have really great perspectives and insights and ideas. And really, different things work for different families. And so I think it's worth really looking at a lot of those ideas. But I know that a couple things have always really worked for us. And I'm going to encourage you to do a couple of things here. So when we're really looking at dealing with diaper rash, I like to look at, let's immediately remove all potentially inflammatory foods from mom and or baby's diet, depending on whether or not she's breastfeeding, and whether or not the baby's actually eating food. So more often than not, we need to take gluten away, and dairy would need to be drastically reduced to pull away that inflammation and watch what happens there with the bottom. Citrus foods tend to be kind of a problem as well. Obviously, the oranges, the grapefruits, tomatoes can sometimes be a problem, and strawberries too. Those also showed up as an issue for our kids in regards to citrus. So remove all of those foods and then really give baby lots of airtime. And sometimes that means, putting a sheet out on the floor or a blanket if baby's not yet crawling, and just let them pee or do whatever they're going to do right there on this old sheet. So that it just doesn't get pushed up against the skin and cause that much more irritation. And that way, when they do have a bowel movement or they do pee, it's more of kind of a dunk, in a room temperature water bath, and to take most of it away versus the rubbing that we have to do. And then another thing we did, we actually used a blow dryer to dry our baby's bottoms, put it on the low temperature, obviously not close to the skin. They loved it. I mean, they loved it, loved it, loved it. And we had big, fat babies with roly-poly thighs and lots of creases. And so even for those little boys with all the extra creases that we have to deal with in cleaning them, a blow dryer is really, really helpful. They tend to just kind of fall open and relax. They like the sound of it. They like the feel of it. And that can be a really great way to get their skin really, really dry. Breast milk always works too. Whether you express that into right into a baby soft washcloth, and just pat that right on the bottom and let that breast milk dry right on there. That's another really great way to kind of ease that inflammation. And the third thing I would say is, if you haven't tried nutrition response testing, I definitely would recommend that. If you head over to Sunu Wellness Center in Minnetonka and you schedule an appointment with Vicki, and you mention this video, you'll get 50% off your first visit. And it's a great way to get a feel for what's going on either in your body or in baby's body, but baby's body primarily. Letting you know what organ or gland is being sort of afflicted, or if a food, is invading their immune system and they can't function optimally, because then you just know what needs to be removed. You have a plan of action. It takes so much of the guesswork away for you as a mom. And I think we just want to get into action and know that we are working on something versus wondering all day long, does this cream work? Does that cream work? Maybe this works. Let's see what happens after this bath or after this diaper change. And then oftentimes it gets worse, or you see blisters on the bottom, and that's just so frustrating as a mom. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Again, that is Sunu Wellness Center in Minnetonka, 952-314-7035. And ask for Vicki, and then mention this video and go ahead and get 50% off that first visit. And then just make sure in the meantime that, like I said, you're letting your baby get that naked baby bottom time, ample time to dry out. Either use a blow dryer, change your baby frequently to kind of get that away from their bottom the minute that they do go And then if you haven't yet liked My Healthy Beginning on Facebook, go ahead and do that, because a couple of weeks ago is when this question was posted and there were just threads and threads and threads of amazing comments. So it's really worth looking at that page for ideas and insight on parenting and other ideas from other like-minded mamas. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.